Good evening, sir. Jesse Crawford here again with my post-lab video reflection from Mod 4. Once again, thank you for understanding my travels this past week. I believe I've gotten everything completed now, just finishing up my video reflection here. Started the experiment last night. I went with the 5 to 18 hours like expected. I pushed it to about 18 hours, just letting it sit. Finally took found out my results of the equation. So the experiment was taking some calcium chloride, adding some sodium carbonate. Both of those first distilled or made a solution with distilled water, dissolving the compounds together or separately, and then adding in the sodium carbonate into the calcium chloride. Instantly seeing a transition and a reaction happening between the two. It started to become white and cloudy, unable to see through clearly. The results then you obviously came out with the calcium carbonate and the sodium chloride. With this, we took the two. We then saw the solution changing colors, and even during the 15-minute time period, I saw some of the buildup happening between the two, and it started becoming solid at the bottom. As I poured it into the filter, you can see the bottom kind of like it would make it a little bit cloudier again. Those pieces were easily dissolved back into the solution, filtered in as soon as, as soon as it all was inside the filter, started to filter through the paper filter. You can again see a change happen with inside the solution, and it was clear one again on the other end of the filter inside the flask. With that, you can also see the buildup of the calcium chloride starting to form on the filter paper, especially when I took it up, once it was filtered through. I then took it out and laid it on a plastic plate where I was able to set it up in a high position where it was away from everything by itself, where it sat for 18 hours or so. Then I instantly saw the buildup of the calcium carbonate on the filter when I first took it off of the flask, to when I was done with it and had been sitting and resting and drying up. It was actually crumbling apart and whatnot. I then weighed it, starting yesterday with the filter paper being weighed at 2.3 grams, and then weighing today's at a total of 4 grams between the two, subtracting them, getting a 1.7 grams for the calcium carbonate. With my solutions and turning it, or my equations, I came out with 3 grams of the calcium carbonate to the calcium chloride to the calcium carbonate. And then with the sodium carbonate and the calcium carbonate, I got 4.6 grams. So this is telling me, if I'm doing this correctly, I understand the calcium chloride is the limiting reactant inside this thing, since it only had 3.03 grams compared to the 4.6 grams of the sodium carbonate. I then took that and found out the percent yield from these with the 1.7 over the 3.03 and the 1.7 over the 4.6, again, if I'm understanding this correctly. This was a neat experiment, because when I started reading through the procedures and then reviewing the reflection that I was gonna have to do, the critical thinking part asks, how is this type of chemistry used to water filter plants? Well, I started to think of the calcium in general, understanding and dealing with it myself through as a homeowner. The calcium buildup through water and pipes and stuff like that, or even on faucets and whatnot. Sure, there are water treatment plants that handle this business, but I lived on a well, so I had calcium. I had the chloride, or I'm sorry, there's some iron in my things, so my showers had watermarks, hard watermarks, all over the shower curtain, on the walls and whatnot, along with a reddish color from I believe it was the iron. My toilets also had the same thing. I then put in a whole home filter where I instantly saw change throughout my home, all of the water, even my dishes. I stopped getting the calcium marks left on my dishes due to this simple machining that filtered out, you know, all that, the calcium and the iron based on my bow and whatever. Um, as far as my skills and my awarenesses have changed, especially this week. Having, I guess you would say, limited time. Sure, I extended it a couple of days, and I understand penalties and whatever, and I take full credit or credit on all of that, accountability on all that. But this week being that I was traveling most of the time, I tried to handle some business. I did some reading when I was gone and stuff, and I got online. I had some issues doing some things with the internet based on the Wi-Fi that I think the hotel had me at. But I was able to get some things done, but not as much. So having to cram, understand all of this, especially getting to the point where doing just finding out the masses and stuff. I even told my wife this yesterday or 2 days ago when I was doing some homework. I would do a question, and it would come to me kind of like, yes, this is where I need to go with this equation. I would get the answer, and it would tell me I got the answer correct. The next question pops up, and I'm like, it's the same question, answered asked differently, but looking for the same kind of results in it. And it would take me a moment, and then I'd realize, wait a second, this is what I have to do, and so on, and just keep with those same steps over and over and over. So my confidence level, I felt, was very low to start this week. Again, having the short week in for my own personal stuff that was going on, to what I am now. I do feel confident, but still lots to go on. Even just doing these equations and stuff like that. I have my notes here, and then I've got things crossed out. I've got rewrites and whatever, and then so my confidence level is gone up, just hasn't gone up to the full that it should be, of course. I hope that to change, and I do see it happening, especially each week, at the beginning of each week, and then at the end of each week. Has definitely grown, and I can definitely see the building on from module to module, from like just the simple Lewis structure diagram that we can see visually to what's coming out to the balancing of it, and using those pictures to kind of come up with the balance of what you can. I mean, I didn't do that, but I can start to see it molding itself together as one. So this is my Mod 4 reflection. I appreciate your time.